Alright, we're here at Bayhorse Ghost Town. This is part of the Yankee Fork State Park. And see behind me some of the structures there. It's about a little less than a mile loop, kind of a loop hike around all the different structures, and they have placards and stuff. So we're gonna cruise around and take a little tour. And yeah, back in a bit. Bayhorse got its name in 1864, around 1864, when a group of prospectors along the Salmon River met a man with 2 bay horses. This prospector talked about a rich mining ground he found up a creek a few miles back from where they currently were. Said he marked the site and planned to go back, but the group of miners tried to find the site and couldn't. They did find the creek, however, and over time, the subsequent, stories about the creek and this great mining site and the 2 bay horses led to the name Bayhorse Creek for the creek that they found, and then eventually the town became Bayhorse. It wasn't until 1872, however, that they found the silver vein near Bayhorse Creek and other discoveries, which eventually led to the creation of the Bayhorse Mining District in 1877. By 1880, Bayhorse already featured a water-propelled smelter capable of handling over 30 tons of ore daily, as well as a sawmill, and things kind of progressed from there. So I want to talk a little bit here about the mining process. So the major mineral output of the Bayhorse district was silver. And the most prominent producer in the district was the Ramshorn mine. And the ore from this mine was sometimes described as dry silver ore, or high-grade ore, which contained lead and significant silver values. And the Ramshorn complex featured a holiday wire rope tramway that moved the ore from the upper workings down the canyon to storage bins. And from the ore bins at the base of the aerial tramway, the ore was then transported to the mill by wagon. And then the raw ore underwent processing at one of the town's mills, and the central processing facility was the Gilmer and Salisbury stamp mill, or the Bayhorse mill. This mill was designed so that gravity would assist the process. So the ore was dumped into the upper part and flowed downward through various stages. The stamp mill operated by crushing the ore underneath heavy metal stamps until it reached the consistency of sand. And then in the final stage, it turned the processed ore or concentrated bullion into a marketable product. The town had a smelter, which was essential for production. By 1885, the Bayhorse smelter was producing 8 tons of bullion per month, containing about 450 ounces of silver. And the smelting process relied on fuel provided by charcoal, which was produced on site using 9 stone kilns. And the wood for the kilns was brought in using a long flume. It's an artificial channel conveying water, typically used for transporting logs or timber. And a refinery was installed in December of 1885, enabling the Bayhorse Smelting and Mining Company to ship pure silver bars rather than crude bullion. So that was really the progression of the mining process through this time period. And of course, throughout this process of building up the mining processes, we found ourselves in the boom of Bayhorse. And the town, so once founded, the town really grew rapidly, reaching a peak population of between 300 and 500 people. Doesn't sound like a lot, obviously, but compared to the handful that started, it was a lot. And this boom necessitated multiple stores, saloons, a hotel, and a restaurant. Some nefarious type, what would be considered nefarious, I guess, unless you're in Las Vegas, type businesses were also cropping up. And by 1898, the Bayhorse District had produced about $10 million in wealth. Of course, the boom came to a halt much sooner than 1898, when that full $10 million in wealth had been extracted. It actually came to a halt in 1889, 9 years earlier. And this initially started because there was a massive fire that caused a lot of destruction in May of 1889. Then in November of 1889, Secretary Wyndham's ruling on Mexican silver lead ores, the smelter then ceased operations, and the town became practically deserted within 2 weeks, leaving over 300 men unemployed. And although small operations persisted into the early 1900s, declining silver prices and the high cost of shipping ore to distant smelters made operations unsustainable. So that ruling on Mexican silver lead ores really was the downfall of Bayhorse, because they now had to send the ore long distances. I think it was to Salt Lake City, Utah, to be refined, and the expense of that outweighed any profit that they may have made. Oftentimes the miners would go bankrupt just trying to ship their ore to get refined. So by 1915, all mining operations ceased, and Bayhorse ascended into ghost town status. So from 1915 to today, Bayhorse was largely left to decay for decades, but in 2006, the site was acquired by the Idaho Department of Parks and Recreation, and it is now managed as a protected unit of the land of the Yankee Fork State Park. So the site is considered one of the West's best preserved boomtown mill sites. Efforts have stabilized and preserved the remaining structures, including the impressive Gilmer and Salisbury stamp mill, charcoal kilns, and original cabins. And so there's lots of neat things you can experience here and walk through, and lots of great signage, lots of great history. The kilns have declined over the years significantly. The tops have caved in, but the bulk of the structurs has been preserved, and they're really neat to observe. So that's the history of Bayhorse Ghost Town. All right, so we're back, and I think we're just gonna give it to you in pictures, and I'll do some narration throughout. But very interesting area. Had a lot of challenges, had a lot of booms, had a lot of busts. So there's a lot of history built into this area, in this specific location of Bayhorse, and I can't wait to have you experience it with us. And yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on the next one. Have a good one.